Hello, everyone. My name is Miriam Lasarte. I'm today your host for the webinar, The State of Biotech in Latin America. So thank you for joining us today in this webinar. Today and this month, biotech is in the spotlight. So we are preparing a series of webinars passing information about biotechnology and important and booming tech sectors in Latin America. My name again is Miriam Lasarte, and I represent LATAM Startups, a nonprofit organization helping startups to scale. We are based in Toronto, Canada, and we provide information through online and offline activities, as well training for startups that are in scaling up phase. So let's start with our webinar. The first thing I want to ask you is that if you have any questions or comments, please send them to contact@latamstartups.biz or through the hashtag LatamStartups. At the end of this session, we'll be happy to answer your questions. Or if you are watching this webinar any other time or date, just please be free to contact us anytime. We'll provide the information that you need. If, of course, we have it handy, but we many times provide information after webinars. So we are happy to answer your questions. So let's start about this really booming sector in Latin America. So first of all, biotechnology in Latin America has been traditionally involved in agricultural and forestry due to the vast diversity of species and microorganisms. The abundance of natural resources and good scientific capabilities in some countries for medicine and biology in general terms is one of the strongest things that Latin America has. Also, funding in some countries are available, and this is not kind of like a common practice. You know, we have different governments putting funding for biotechnology companies for the development of this, but sometimes, you know, that there's just some bureaucracy and some things happening behind that actually impact this sector negatively. But in some countries, actually, it's positive because the government is putting attention to this. So there are many restrictive factors, for example, the lack of venture capital, the lack of political support, the brain drain. Some startups going to different countries, they don't find opportunities to keep the R&D in their own countries or commercialize products in biotech. So one example that I think happened to many countries in the world is that, you know, many startups actually finish up going to the USA. In this case, not necessarily to Silicon Valley, but, you know, to Boston, MIT, all of that, because there are great institutions there that also are supporting startups in biotechnology. But at the same time, we are kind of like a losing talent in Latin America when that happened, when they move definitely, you know, when they actually go for training or something. But okay, the limited funds for development and biotechnologies have resulted in the duplication of efforts and have reduced incentives for reaching critical scientific masses. Some countries with a strong biotechnology sector are Chile, Argentina, Uruguay, Colombia, and Brazil. And from all of them, Chile certainly is leading the market regarding disruption, innovation, and new commercialization of biotechnological products. So this is not saying that the other countries don't do that. We are kind of putting together the light in those that are leading the market because the disruption of their laws, because the support to the ecosystem, because some startups have come to the market actually with good products and services in this specific sector. So we would like to highlight those, you know, and to show you how is the perspective of the biotech in Latin America. So starting with Chile, in a specific, I'm going to point up some of the biotechnology happening there. And we are going to cover briefly the other countries as well. Corfo is a public institution in Chile supporting entrepreneurship, innovation, technology, investment, all type of things that contribute to build a solid entrepreneurial ecosystem in the country. If some of you have been, in our conferences before, you know that in 2015, for example, Corfo was presenting in our conference. We normally come, very many people from different countries putting together information for the general public about startups and scaling ups. So Corfo is one of them. This is kind of like the leader in the market in Chile as a public institution, and under Corfo is actually Startup Chile. So just last year, Corfo led an event in biotechnology as they consider this sector is supporting the development of very strategy sectors in Latin America. Due to the lack of venture, a government of Chile has become the main investor, not just in biotechnology, but in other technologies as well in the country. An example of the support they provide, there is a fund. As far as I know, there are several funds, but I want to highlight this one in particular. This fund was created to support technology investment projects. This program is part of a group of activities providing special funding to support the creation of projects, implementation, or extension of innovation centers between other things. This fund was created to support initiatives in ICT, information communication and technology, biotechnology, and electrical engineering, between others. The exciting thing about this program is that the program is not just targeting, it's targeting technology and productive companies at a national level, but as well as an international level. So for those that are foreign companies and that they would like to apply for this kind of funds, they will actually have to incorporate in Chile, which is not super difficult. I've been there. I passed many months in Chile researching about this part. The incorporation is not difficult. If you've seen 2016, we have some webinars about that. Probably the most difficult part is to actually create a bank account, but the incorporation is not difficult. It takes a couple of days, to create a company. Of course, depending on, the type of company that you're creating. So many factors will, apply in your favor or not, But projects in biotechnology, either national or international, should represent an investment about $2 million. So those projects with less than $2 million will actually, apply as well, but that, had a different kind of like, it will apply under special circumstances. What Corfo is actually looking for investment projects in this sector is those that represent more than $2 million in investment. So the funding is about 30% of the project, with a limit of $5 million per project. So for those that are interested in research a little bit more about this program in Chile, just go ahead and Google IFI Corfo, which is IFI and Corfo, as you could see here in the screen, and you will find all the information about this program in Chile. So also, big pharmaceutical firms have been part of the process to support the biotechnology sector in Chile. Partnerships between universities and corporations are becoming popular to support research and development and commercialization. One recent example is the partnership signed in August between Universidad Católica and Pfizer, Chile. So for those that don't know, Universidad Católica is one of the most important universities in Chile. They have very strong innovation center there with a big specific, department dedicated to biotechnology. The building is just amazing, and the team that is working there as well. There are also University of Chile. There are some other universities in the city that also support this kind of initiatives regarding, partnerships between incubators and corporations. So this specific agreement, for example, the one that we are showing here, was signed up in August, as I said, and is actually to do research and development in gastric cancer. And the goal is to improve treatment, reduce mortality, and search for new therapies against this sickness. This is really important for us in Latin America as well for the world, that this is happening between, Germany, pharmaceutical corporation, and a Chilean incubator, university incubator. So this is one of the examples. There are many others that you can find, through the different incubators that Chile has in this sector. There are also well noticed that since 2013, some events around biotechnology are putting the conversation out of how Latin America should improve in biotechnology and learn about the advantage of some countries in these sectors, and as well find cooperation, between government and private institutions. So one of the events is Bio Latam. The forum is actually supporting collaboration, discussion, and analysis between the key participants of the industry. This is just an example of one event in biotechnology in a specific focusing in Latin America. I'm not saying this is the only event, this is one of the events, and it's really important sometimes to have these people meeting each other because, they kind of come with really nice insights and everything. So talking about a little bit about biotech in Colombia. Looking in perspective, other countries are also trying to lead in this sector as provide, an enormous benefit in other economic and traditional sectors. Because, some of the traditional sectors in Latin America are so linked into agricultural, as I mentioned at the beginning, this is kind of impacting whatever is happening there. So in Colombia, for example, Colciencias, Science, Technology, and Innovation is the acronym in Spanish, is leading a process in the kind of mega projects to produce biofuel and bioproducts for industrial purposes. This government institution is looking to support the growing of the industrial capital, the research and development centers, and other social, economic, and environmental benefits for the community. In Colombia, there are around 114 groups dedicated to research and development biotechnology, and those are located mainly in Bogota and Medellin. The goal for Colombia is to be #1 country in biotechnology projects by 2025. So as you can see here, kind of like Chile in Latin America is leading the market, but as well, you have some of the other countries that are looking forward to catch up and to try to do not necessarily to copy Chile, but do their own thing to actually lead the market. And you will see also that in some of the examples that we are giving here, some of them are not totally related with biotechnology. In they actually focus in sectors, in micro sectors for each of them. So biotechnology in Argentina. In Argentina exists a biotechnology chamber of commerce. So the chamber of commerce is actually looking to support Argentina to lead this country in the market at a regional level and as well globally. The Chamber of Commerce is promoting new startups in this sector with global perspective, focusing in commercialization, biotechnology products with innovation and disruption components. In Bio Argentina 2016, which is another event that also is happening in Argentina, this one, as far as I know, was the first one of this type in Argentina, was announced a national fund to invest $2 million in the creation of innovative companies in biotechnology. Biotechnology accelerators from around the world participated in this forum, and some of them are interested to support the local ecosystem to create more biotechnology companies in Argentina. So as many of the biotechnology companies are also, affecting the agricultural sector in Argentina and Uruguay, which are two strong countries in agricultural. Some of them are leading the market, a global perspective in some products. So this is really important. There are some funds that are being created, not just in biotechnology in general perspective, but as well in agtech, this agricultural technology. There is one specific fund, for example, that is called NXTP Labs. This is an accelerator that is based in Argentina. They have offices around Latin America, and they also have one in Silicon Valley. They put together a call last year for, agricultural technology startups. This year is, again, they are calling the startups. And by the way, the call is just open. So if you need more information about that, just let us know. We can actually pass you more information about that specific fund. So that's Argentina. And then we are going to Brazil. So in Brazil is another huge market in biotechnology. The country represents one of the largest economy in Latin America. The potential to develop more biotechnology and healthcare startups is enormous. Brazil is well known in the region, in particular in research and development of cellulosic sugars and agro businesses. Brazil is also looking forward to lead the sector. So just the BRIC countries, Brazil, Russia, India, and China, represents 5% of the biotech sales in the world. This is kind of like a not super updated kind of numbers because they are coming from 2013. But those were the most updated that we found that actually about Brazilian biotechnology. We are sure that the numbers have been increasing a lot in the last 2 years or so. That 5% probably is not the highest percent in the market, but what we could see here is it has been an increase, in the last year. Like, for example, from the period from 2010 and 2012, the increase in this particular sector in sales around the world was 29.3% in compared, with the other 2 years before that. So you could see here that if they are increasing in that way, and I'm sure that the numbers this year are going to show even more, then they are going to keep leading the market in this part. One tendency in Brazil is that biotech companies are actually focusing more in human health than agro businesses, which make a difference from the other countries in Latin America. So you could see, for example, Colombia is more like focusing in industrial productions, products in biotechnology, and research and development, illnesses. They kind of like have a very good, range of products and services that they are developing in Chile. And in Brazil is healthcare. And in Argentina, kind of like is also directed to agro technology more than, than health services, although they have also startups in that, in those sectors, micro sectors. So the information we have provided is a great perspective of how this sector is growing in Latin America and booming up micro sectors in biotechnology. We have our next webinar in February 8th, and it's about the state of biotechnology in Canada, which is very complementary with what is happening right now in Latin America, just because Canada has been leading this sector for years in the world. We have very, very strong startup ecosystem in biotechnology, and has been traditionally well known that Canada has this sector well developed. So to learn a little bit more about what is going on right now in Canada, and compare what you probably know already, join us in the next webinar in February 8th at 12 p.m. East. And after those ones, we have also a webinar about biotech challenges and opportunities, which is a conversation with four experts, two from Canada, from Latin America, more or less. You know, we have one from US, one from Canada, one from Latin America, probably from Chile and Brazil are our experts, we'll see. But the biotechnology challenges and opportunities webinar is going to happen in February 15, and it's going to be for 1 hour. And you can also ask questions directly to those people that are, looking forward to probably chat with you about the challenges that you have as a startup in biotechnology, and as well the opportunities you have to grow your business. And Biotech in the Spotlight is the last event of biotechnology. It's going to happen in LATAM chats in Twitter. So this is an event more for startups that like to share their experience having a biotechnology company. So if you have a biotechnology company and you want to share your experience through a conversation in Twitter, just please send us some kind of questions or comments to our email or through hashtag LATAM Startups. So now it's time for questions. If you guys have questions right now about Latin America and how this is developing, right now it's time to do it. In the meantime, I want to tell you we are preparing a really strong year here about different sectors, different events, and different tools and training for startups in this sector, not just this sector, but many others as well. So far we don't have any questions right now. So I'm going to continue to the next one and tell you to thank you because you were today with us and you were looking at our webinar. Thank you so much for this. Please join us in our next webinar and send us questions later if you're watching this webinar later. Thank you so much and have a great day.